The truth about libido and food. When it comes to libido, many people still believe it all boils down to momentary desire or emotional factors. But the truth is much deeper, and perhaps more surprising. Your libido begins in your body. And most importantly, it starts with what you put on your plate every day. Before considering quick fixes, stimulants, or any kind of shortcut, it's essential to understand that libido is a direct reflection of how your body functions. It depends on hormonal balance, efficient blood circulation, adequate energy levels, mental health, and quality sleep. And all of these factors are profoundly influenced by diet. Think of it this way: your body is like a system. If you feed that system with quality nutrients, it functions well. But if you provide it with poor, incomplete, or unbalanced energy, it starts to fail. And one of the first things to feel this is your libido. A diet based on ultra-processed products, rich in sugar, unhealthy fats, and chemical additives, can cause inflammation in the body, impair hormone production, and drastically reduce energy levels. This happens because the body needs high-quality raw materials to produce important hormones like testosterone and estrogen, which are directly linked to desire. Without these nutrients, the body enters a state of energy conservation. He prioritizes basic survival functions and neglects functions that are not essential at that moment, such as libido. And here's a point that few people realize. Low libido is often not the main problem, it's a symptom. A sign that something in your body isn't working as it should. It could be a lack of nutrients, excessive stress, poor sleep quality, or even an unregulated lifestyle. And food is at the heart of it all. Another extremely important factor is blood circulation. For the body to respond with energy, vitality, and desire, blood flow needs to be functioning properly. And there are specific nutrients that help in this process, such as antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. When you consume natural foods rich in these nutrients, you improve the health of your blood vessels and facilitate this process. On the other hand, a poor diet can impair circulation, reducing the body's response. Furthermore, diet directly influences your energy level. If you're constantly tired and lacking energy, you'll hardly have the energy for any other area of your life, including your libido. And this fatigue often comes not only from routine but from a lack of essential nutrients. Another important point is the impact on the brain. Libido is also linked to the nervous system and emotional balance. Nutrients such as B vitamins, magnesium, and fatty acids help in the production of neurotransmitters related to well-being, such as serotonin and dopamine. Without these elements, the body can enter a state of demotivation, anxiety, or even apathy. And all of this directly impacts desire. But there is something even more important: consistency. It's not a healthy meal that will transform your libido. That's the standard. These are the choices repeated over days, weeks, and months. That's what really makes the difference. Another common mistake is seeking isolated solutions. Many people search for a single miracle food, hoping for immediate results. But the reality is that libido is constructed. It is the result of a healthy, balanced, and well-nourished body. And this doesn't happen overnight. Furthermore, excessive stress combined with a poor diet can be one of the biggest enemies of libido. The body enters a state of constant alert, produces more cortisol, and reduces the production of hormones linked to pleasure. In other words, even if there is desire, the body does not respond. Therefore, taking care of your diet is much more than just an aesthetic issue. It's a way to restore balance to your body. It's about giving your body what it needs to function at its best. And when that happens, libido naturally improves. No pressure and magic formulas, without artificial solutions. Simply as a consequence of a body that is functioning well. And in the next section, you'll discover which foods can truly help in this process and how to use them intelligently in your daily life. Foods that naturally increase libido. Now that you understand that libido is a direct reflection of your body's health, it's time to talk about what can really boost this process: the right foods. And here's an important point to start with. There are no miracles. What exists are foods that, when consumed frequently and within a balanced context, help your body function better and, as a consequence, naturally increase libido. It all starts with nutrients. Some nutrients are essential for hormone production, blood circulation, and energy levels. And certain foods stand out precisely because they are rich in these elements. One of the main ones is zinc. Zinc is directly linked to the production of testosterone, an essential hormone for both men and women when it comes to libido. A deficiency in this mineral can lead to decreased energy, reduced desire, and even mood swings. You can find zinc in foods such as seeds, nuts, and eggs. Another extremely important group is foods rich in antioxidants. Fruits like strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, and pomegranates help improve blood circulation and protect blood vessels from damage. This is essential because good circulation is directly linked to the body's response. In addition, antioxidants combat oxidative stress, which can impair hormone production. Cocoa is another food that deserves special mention. It contains compounds that stimulate the release of substances related to pleasure and well-being, such as serotonin. This improves mood and can increase energy levels. But note, we're talking about real cocoa with a high cocoa content, not chocolates full of sugar. Another powerful food is avocado. Rich in healthy fats, it contributes to hormone production and provides a stable energy supply. Furthermore, it helps with satiety, preventing hunger and energy spikes. Oil seeds, such as walnuts, almonds, and chestnuts, are also great allies. They provide healthy fats, magnesium, and other minerals important for the body's balance. Magnesium, in particular, is essential for reducing stress and improving the functioning of the nervous system. And less stress means more room for desire. Ginger acts as a natural stimulant. It helps improve blood circulation and has a thermogenic effect, slightly increasing the body's energy. In addition, it has anti-inflammatory properties. Garlic is also known for its effects on circulation. It contains compounds that help dilate blood vessels, facilitating blood flow. Although many people avoid garlic for social reasons, its benefits are real and proven. Green leafy vegetables, such as spinach and kale, are rich in magnesium and natural nitrates, which also help with circulation. They contribute to the overall health of the body and are an important foundation for a balanced diet. Another essential point is protein. Foods like eggs and natural yogurt help in the production of hormones and the maintenance of muscle mass, which also directly influences energy levels. And without energy, there is no libido. Another factor that is often overlooked is hydration. Water is essential for virtually all bodily functions. Dehydration can cause fatigue, decreased physical and mental performance, and, consequently, reduce libido. In other words, something as simple as drinking water can make a difference. But here's an important warning. There's no point in including these foods and continuing to maintain habits that harm your body. Excess sugar, frequent alcohol consumption, and ultra-processed foods can negate many of these benefits. They affect hormonal balance, impair circulation, and increase inflammation in the body. So, it's not just about what you add. It's also about what you reduce. Another common mistake is exaggerating. Some people believe that consuming large quantities of these foods will speed up the results. But the body functions best when in balance. It's not about quantity, it's about consistency. Small doses every day are much more effective than occasional overdosing. And perhaps most importantly of all, observe your own body. Each person responds in a different way. Some foods may work better for you than for someone else. And that's part of the process. Over time, you'll realize which combinations give you more energy, more vitality, and a greater sense of well-being. And this is directly reflected in your libido. Because ultimately, what we're doing here isn't just increasing desire. It's about improving the functioning of your body as a whole. And when the body functions well, everything else follows naturally. And in the next section, you'll understand how to transform all of this into real habits within your routine, because that's what truly generates results. How to improve your libido through routine and habits. Now we come to the most important point of all, transforming knowledge into practice. Because understanding which foods help is essential, but what really changes your libido is what you do every day. And here's where a simple yet powerful principle comes in: consistency. Libido doesn't improve with a single action. It improves when you create a favorable internal environment in your body, and that happens through the repetition of good habits. The first step is to stop complicating things. You don't need to change your entire life all at once. On the contrary, radical changes tend not to last. The secret is to start small but start consistently. Include more natural foods in your meals. Add fruits, seeds, leafy greens, and protein sources throughout the day. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. Another essential point is to organize your environment. If you rely on making decisions in the heat of the moment, the chances of making poor choices are much higher. Having healthy food readily available makes the process much easier. Keep fruits visible, have convenient options in the refrigerator, and avoid buying excessive amounts of ultra-processed products. The environment directly influences your behavior. Now, let's talk about something that many people ignore: sleep. Poor sleep is one of the biggest enemies of libido. During sleep, the body regulates important hormones, including those related to desire. When you sleep too little or poorly, there is a drop in hormone production, increased tiredness, and reduced energy levels. In other words, it's no use eating well if your sleep is disrupted. Another critical factor is stress. Chronic stress increases cortisol levels, a hormone that, in excess, can reduce libido. The body enters a constant state of alert, prioritizing survival over pleasure. Therefore, learning to slow down is also part of the process. It doesn't have to be anything complex. It could be a walk, a moment of silence, a break during the day, or any activity that helps you relax. The practice of physical exercise also plays a fundamental role. It improves blood circulation, increases energy levels, and contributes to hormonal balance. Furthermore, physical activity releases substances that improve mood and reduce stress. All of this directly impacts libido. Another important point is to avoid extremes. Neither excess nor excessive restriction. A balanced routine is much more sustainable than a rigid one. Allowing flexibility helps you maintain the habit for longer. And here's where an essential factor comes in: self-knowledge. Observe how your body reacts. Notice which foods give you the most energy, which habits improve your well-being, and which situations increase or decrease your energy levels. Libido isn't just physical. It's also emotional and mental, and understanding that makes all the difference. Another common mistake is comparing yourself to other people. Every body has its own rhythm, its own response, and its own needs. What works for someone else may not work exactly the same way for you. Therefore, the focus needs to be on your evolution. Furthermore, it's important to adjust your expectations. Improved libido doesn't happen overnight. It is built. It's the result of days well lived, of better choices, of a body that gradually finds its balance. And when that happens, the change is much more solid. Without relying on external solutions. No need for shortcuts. Simply as a consequence of a healthy organism. And perhaps that is the most important message of this video. Libido is not something you need to search for. It's something that arises naturally when your body is functioning well. When you eat better, when you sleep better, when you reduce stress, when you move more. Everything is starting to fall into place. And when that happens, desire ceases to be a problem and becomes a consequence. Therefore, focus on the basics. Because it's doing the basics well, every day, that generates real transformation. And your health, in every sense, will thank you. If you've made it this far, you've already understood something very important. Your libido doesn't depend on magic formulas. It depends on your body functioning well. And your body responds to the choices you make every day. It's not about a single food. It's not about a quick fix. It's about consistency. It's about nourishing your body with quality food. It's about sleeping better. It's about reducing stress. It's about taking care of you completely. Because when your body is balanced, everything improves. Your energy improves, your mood improves, and naturally your libido too. You don't need to transform everything at once. Start simple. Add a healthier food today. Sleep a little better tonight. Make a more conscious choice today. Because small changes, repeated every day, generate big results. If this video helped you, please leave a like to support the Your Health channel. Sign up to continue learning simple, practical, and real ways to improve your health and quality of life. And share this video with someone who needs to understand this. Because taking care of your health is also taking care of your energy, your life, and everything that comes with it. See you in the next video.